Hey, what's up? Today we're going to be talking about the strike concept, which is one I talk about quite a bit. So maybe you're familiar with that, maybe you're not, but we're going to get into it. So we're going to look at two plays today, and what the strike is it's a two-man concept. Actually, this throw is going to go late to Watson in the middle. So we're going to watch this real quick, talk about what the concept is, and then kind of move on to the next one. So there you go. Lazard goes in motion. He's going to be a key part of this. He's going to run a vertical route. Watson's going to run that dig route. Rogers going to try to hit Watson in the second window. Does not work. Let's just watch it from the end zone angle as well. Speed this up and just so we can see this throw. Maybe play action, set up, hit that back foot, throw, little low outside for Christian Watson on 1st and 10. So what is this concept? What are we trying to do here? So we'll go after Lazard goes in motion because he is going to be a big part of this. So strike, what the strike is in the LaFleur playbook. It's different under different names. PA bang dig, play action bang dig is another name for it. It's typically play under center. It's always play action, typically under center. Although the Packers have done a lot more shotgun this year with that. It's going to look like typically that's tied to wide zone blocking up front, with the block going. Well, I mean, in this case, it's going to go this way, so they're all going to block this way. You're going to fake to the back and to the fake side. So this is going to be the fake side here. This man is going to run a vertical route. And so his job is going to be to move this guy, tie up the safety, whatever. He's clearing space for the dig. And what's going to happen over here is this dig route. So kind of get inside position under man, run to the middle. The idea being that the fake here to that side will draw these linebackers up and over and away from the dig. That's why the fake to the non-dig side is important, because you want to draw them away from that route. So you're trying to draw them up that way, then hit that dig behind. And you're just, so basically you want this guy clear out that space, so when he catches it, he can run or whatever. You're not bothered by what's going on over here. So this is going to be the Rogers one. And again, we just looked at this, so it's going to be incomplete. The spacing on this is very important, and we've seen issues with this concept before. This is a core concept in the LaFleur offense. It's tied to, like I said, tied to wide zone. This is one of the key variations to the wide zone rushing scheme. Now, Packers don't run as much wide zone as they have in the past. It's kind of being phased out around the league in most places that in the Shanahan tree they have been using it. That doesn't matter. Either way, this is still a core concept in there because it's playing off of these same things. You make this look like the run that you show. Sometimes they'll tie that to power, you run a slicer underneath, do whatever. So you can dress it up a little bit, but the idea is the same. Make this look like one of your core runs to get these guys moving and then hit that dig. One of the issues we've seen so far, and this is not the issue here, is I know we've seen Sammy Watkins take an outside path here, and this is a 5-step drop. So you do bang, 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 you hit that top of that step. That guy needs to be here and he's in inside position. We've seen guys take outside, and so by the time Rogers is back of his drop, you're not at a break, or you're here and you can't hit him. So that's one of the main issues we've seen on this specific concept, has been the release of the dig guy. This is something different, and we have seen this a couple times before, but I want to bring this up, and that is Lazard. Typically, so what his job, his entire job here, the throw, I'm going to say never, because I'm sure it does, rarely, if ever, goes here. This is an alert. So this is if everything else, if everything looks perfect, you throw this vertical route. If not, it's not an option. And I don't know that I've ever seen this thrown from the Packers. If they have thrown it, it's not been very much. So your job, push, create space. You're creating this. You're helping create this block of space here. What Lazard's going to do, he's got plenty of room, is he's going to push forward, and then he's going to take it inside. And so he's going to get pushed inside by here voluntarily, almost, because he could take an outside release and does not. So he kind of gets pushed inside, funneled, or he gets, get pushed to the inside, funneled inside, and then that screws up the spacing here. So let's look at how that looks, because the second one will not have that. All right, so here we go. Rogers is at the top of the drop. He's ready to throw. This is what he's seeing. He's cutting. He's got the inside position there. Throw is going to go, here-ish. Lazard, if he pushes vertical, and we'll rewind and watch Lazard. So we'll see what he does. There he goes. He kind of does that little jab step. This guy's got his feet straight up. He is looking to push him inside. But you got to own this, man. Push outside shoulder. Instead, he pushes inside. and it messes up. It messes up the spacing on that, man. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hit that backdrop. He's hitching. He's ready to go. Throw it here, but Lazard is here. So Rogers doesn't want to throw this. And you can say maybe he should just rip it. And listen, maybe he should. But if you're looking at the spacing here, all it takes is recognition from this guy here to kind of come back down, knock it away, bat it up in the air. You've got a safety back here. You've got all this stuff. Sometimes Rogers tends to play some stuff too safe in the middle. I'm kind of on his side here in terms of not throwing it right here, just because the spacing is bad. You want to throw to a window, you want this window to be this big. Instead, you've compressed it into like that small just because this guy's taking the inside route. So he takes the inside route. The throw's not there. Rogers instead waits for him to get across. So instead of throwing on that back foot, that fifth step, he waits a beat, hops, and then tries to throw in that second window. But he's back here. So if you're throwing drift, if you're throwing strike, you're back here. That's an easy throw right to the middle. You got that great angle on it. Well, if you're throwing it over here, suddenly you've got, this guy has a chance to maybe try to undercut it, the way that goes. And just there's a bunch of different factors that go into it. It's a harder throw over there than it is in the middle. So waiting that beat kind of throws this off a little bit. You can see then he kind of steps up. He does have room to hit this, and he ends up going long away. Watson does not catch up with it. Throw could have been better, likely, but he wants to hit that in the middle. Not there, just based on that kind of vertical spacing, just kind of throwing everything off a little bit. So we'll watch from this angle again. Bang, 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 or bang. He's ready to throw. You can see Lazard's feet up in the corner there. He does not feel comfortable throwing it into that window. Then he waits a beat, throws low and away. Watson does go down to get it, gets his hands on it, but is not able to come up with it. So this is then going to be later in the games. This is fourth quarter, 9 minutes and 10 seconds remaining. This is going to be, it's going to look way better. Still the same players. It's going to be Allen Lazard pushing vertical. You have Christian Watson running this dig. So you're going to have the same thing. You're going to have a play fake. This was Jordan Love's only under center passing snap of the day. His only play action snap of the day, which turned out pretty well, 63-yard touchdown. So he's going to fake to that side to draw these guys up. And he wants to hit that dig to Watson behind. And we'll just look at, we just spent entirely too long harping on spacing. We'll look at what spacing creates for this concept. And actually we'll watch it. And then we'll kind of come back and talk about it a little bit because I need to get better about that. Vertical push, he gets inside and then just turns on the jets, does some alien stuff, flies to the end zone, touchdown Packers. All right, so again, we'll watch the release right now of Allen Lazard because instead of pushing and doing that little jab step stuff he was doing and cutting inside, he is just pushing. You can see he kind of gives a little in and then up. So he moves that defender. Watch him. He's playing the outside. He kind of pushes inside. So he's able to get to the outside. When he gets to the outside, you've removed this guy. You've drawn the attention of that guy there, which now gives Watson free release. Look, there he is. He pushes with his speed. We'll look at that. Is able to kind of, get that guy backpedaling a little bit, get him half turned. And then when you turn to the top of that route, you create the space. This guy right here is dropping back, but not in the window. So Jordan Love's going to fire that sucker in there just past that linebacker. And now this is one of the important parts. This guy here, he has a decision to make. He's got to go tackle Christian Watson. Well, okay, I've got this guy here. At this point, Lazard's kind of angling in. So he makes the decision to dip underneath. He can't take a straight path. He can't go through there. And so he dips underneath. And by doing that, he flattens a little bit. He could likely go over the top there. Maybe he doesn't know how fast Christian Watson is. And so he kind of dips underneath that route there, just a little dip. But then that kind of gets him flat. You'll see him kind of look to avoid. And now he's flat on that plane as opposed to, say, here, trying to angle down. And then Watson's able to just get that corner there. So that route from Lazard, able to kind of angle that in a little bit, buys time for Watson a little more. So before we go any further, I will watch the Watson route here. He does a good job of that. And we'll point that out when we see it. use that speed, push, 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 get that guy turned a little bit, open up his hips, cut to the inside, create separation, right on the money throw from Love, and then just turns on the jets because 32 could not take a direct path to Christian Watson, and then has that block at the end to make sure Watson gets in clean. So all along, nicely done. And again, this is an example of what happens with this concept, how this can be. Now, you're not always going to get a 63-yard touchdown of it, but that spacing on that vertical route, why that's so important to help open up the middle, and how just a simple little outside release helps as opposed to the inside release we saw earlier, and kind of how that can throw out the timing. Just love rips that sucker, man. So hope you all enjoyed this. I know I always do. So I hope you all learned something, and I will talk to you next time.